When you're in my class, I have some specific expectations that you must meet every single day whenever you come in, and they are outlined as follows. Be prepared, so be sure you bring in your materials and your homework. Make sure that you take care of yourself too. Get some sleep. Make sure that you eat some food so that you don't look like this guy. Please be respectful to others in the classroom, me, to the classroom space and materials, and also of your own learning experience. If you're doing something that's getting in the way of your own learning, stop and start learning. And then lastly, please be engaged. And you can't be engaged if you're not on time or in class. So be there, be alert, be ready to listen, read directions, and be a leader. So initiate, participate, and ask questions. I'm now going to outline some norms for this class, so those are basic daily practices that will always apply. For example, when you're entering the classroom, please know that respectful behavior starts in the hallway and enters with you. As soon as you come in, you can pick up handouts and also clear out your folder. There might be things that I pass back that are hidden inside your folder, so find your name and get your materials. Then you can go to your seat, get out any other materials like your homework, and most importantly, begin your do now. There will be a do now every single day. Grab that do now and get started the moment you walk in the room. In the event that nature calls, or you're thirsty, or you're not feeling so well, please use the following signs. Signal to me that you need to leave so that you're not interrupting your fellow classmates and their learning. So if you need to go to the bathroom, just hold up your hand like this with your thumb in between your index finger and your middle finger, and you can just wave your fist back and forth like this. That will be a signal to me that you need to go to the bathroom. If you need to get a drink of water, hold up 3 fingers like this to make a W and bring it up to your mouth like so. And if you need to go to the nurse, you can just hold up your hand like this and take your fingers, and like you were going to feel your pulse, just tap on your wrist like this. Boop, boop, and that's the signal for going to the nurse. Lastly, if you're asked to leave the room for a behavioral issue, please do so promptly and without confrontation. I know that sometimes you might get in trouble and it's not fair because somebody else was at fault. I want to be fair to as many people as possible, but it's not acceptable for you to argue with me about it during class. The time for that is after school, and I'm happy to sit down with you and sort things out at that time. We're very lucky to have iPads at our disposal this year, as well as access to a really great computer lab, and many of you guys have your own smart devices that you may be bringing into class, and I want to make sure that we're using these devices in a way that improves our learning. To help guide us in appropriate use, I'm going to have an arrow pointing to signs in the room at any given time during class to indicate, say for example, we're doing some activities where technology isn't very useful. The arrow will be pointing to no technology, at which point you shouldn't have your iPads out, you shouldn't have your phones out, or any other of those gadgets. There will be other activities where the iPads are the central focus, and we'll definitely be using them a ton. Sometimes, say when you're watching and reviewing videos like this, where you might want to use not only iPads, but also earphones so that you're listening and not distracting somebody else. And then lastly, if we go down to the computer lab, or if it's an activity that could use our cell phones or something like that, any technology might be appropriate. The point is, please keep track of which technology is appropriate to use at any particular time. Furthermore, when you use the technology, please do so respectfully, so without sounds or alarms beeping off, or without photographing people without their permission, and without using social media and games at inappropriate times. While most of the time we will be having conversations and discussions in this class, there are also going to be times where the classroom needs to be silent or just at a whisper so that people can concentrate and think themselves. Solitude, which is a great virtue that religious figures in many, many religions, the Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, you go through them all of them sought solitude. That's time alone and in quiet for deep thought. And if you want to have profound academic thoughts, then you need to protect your own solitude and the solitude of your classmates. To help guide us, I will usually have this little image of the speaker up on the wall, and I'll turn the knob to say, oh yeah, this is a time where conversation is totally fine, or no, sorry, this is silent time. And so just make sure that you're moderating your voice at either silent, whisper, or conversation accordingly. The only situation where we would be at maximum volume would be if we were invaded by an axe murderer who has epilepsy that's triggered by loud noises.
Because we'll be working a lot in groups, I wanted to distinguish between two terms: collaboration, something which we will be doing a lot of, and plagiarism, something which hopefully we will be doing none of. Collaboration is when you respectfully cooperate with your classmates, and it involves real individual effort from all parties involved, whereas cheating or plagiarism is when you take or copy work from other people without giving clear credit to them. Plagiarism sucks because, first of all, you lose an opportunity to learn because you were too busy copying to pay attention to anything. Second of all, you earn a 0 on the assignment, you maybe fail for the term, and I will notify both your parents and your vice principal. If the problem persists, then you will go in front of an honor committee which is made up of both faculty and students all staring at you and trying to figure out why you decided to cheat. Plagiarism is never worth it, and if you are worried that you might be plagiarizing, please come talk to me and so I can teach you about ways to avoid it. If you're like me, then you often find yourself asking, wait, what am I doing? You can find an answer to that question in several places in this class. For homework assignments and updates, check the Schoology app. To check your grades and missing assignments, you can look on PowerSchool. And parents, remember, you can do both of these things too. You can get an access code to see your student's Schoology and all the classes that they're in, and you can also use the password provided to you by the school in order to look up your students' grades and monitor how well they're doing. If you need help doing either of those things, please get in touch with me and I'd be more than happy to help. I can't tell you the number of students that have been failing in my class right up until the point where either the student starts looking at their grades and figuring out what they need to do, or their parent helps them do that. And then they come to me and they say, hey, mister, I'm missing assignments, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, great, I have an extra copy for you. They complete it, and their grade goes up. To understand what and why we are doing something at any particular moment in class, look at the agenda at the front of the room, check out the essential questions which sew together some of the large concepts in class, and check out the written directions on your assignments. But to truly have your act together, you must keep your materials organized in a binder with a folder for small pieces of paper, and you need to keep your files labeled on your iPad. If you fail to do either of these, I will keep you after school and make you clean out every single piece of paper in your backpack until it's organized, so don't even go there.
If you get sick, when you return, there are some things that you must do to make sure that you do not fall overly behind. Make sure that you get any missed materials from that folder at the front of the class. Don't come asking me for it. I'll put the stuff in your folder. Make sure that you turn in anything that was due. Holy crap. If something was due while you were gone, and you are out, then I gave you a 0. So make sure that you hand it to me so that I can give you a grade for it. Make sure that you get notes and updates from classmates first. So ask your classmates, hey man, what did I miss? And then if, they'll fill you in, and then if you have follow-up questions, then you can come talk to me, but talk to your classmates first. Make sure that you turn in anything that was due. Oh wow, I put that one there twice because it's super important, / it's a typo. And then also plan to make up time after school, so come in after school to do any makeup work that you have. If you know you're going to be absent ahead of time, then you can make arrangements with me. If for some reason you did not turn in a piece of work on time, I'm sure this will never happen once, but just in case it happens, you should know that in my class, better late than never. So that means for homeworks, you could get half credit if you pass it in late. Now, remember, half credit still means failing, but it's failing less than if you had 0 points. Then with labs and projects, if it's late by a day, you get minus 10% each day. So, you still bring it in the next day. It's possible if you got like 100% quality project that you get a 90. Announce deadlines where, all right, any work that you have that you want to make up must be due by here or it's a 0 and I won't accept it. So just keep your ears open for when I announce those periodic deadlines. If there's something really serious going on at home, in extenuating circumstances, I will give extensions, but you must come meet with me about it after school to discuss the details. The moral of this story is, if you don't do your work, do it late. But the best solution here is never do it late, because then you'll get all of the credit instead of half of the credit. And I have so many students that say, oh my god, why didn't I do this on time? And I'm like, yeah, why didn't you do that on time? Sometimes people think that extra help is for stupid people. And I think that's the stupidest idea. Because what's really stupid is not getting help when you need it. If you need help in my class, and my class is darn hard, so you're going to need help, please come after school. I'm usually after school 3 to 4 days a week until at least 3:30, often more than that. And I cannot emphasize this enough. The smartest people, the people who do the best in my class, are the ones that come after and try to figure stuff out. Somewhere in this photo, by the way, is the first student at Revere High School that I gave an A+ to for a quarter grade.
By the way, this picture was taken at 4 o'clock on a Friday. These are people who really want to make their learning better.
Lastly, get ready for an interesting year. I'm so excited to learn about you guys and to learn about biology with you guys, and I'm going to leave you with this picture that I took of a bullet ant as it was crawling on my notebook right here, because the bullet ant is so huge. By the way, bullet ants have the second most painful sting in the entire insect world. One of my friends got stung by this sucker, and his entire arm went numb for a day. Yeah, this is why biology is awesome. Get pumped for this year.